Imagine the scene at the end of every day. You have dinner, take a shower, handle the last little things around the house, set aside what you're going to use the next day, and when the clock gets close to a certain time, your body asks for bed. You go to the bedroom, turn off the lights, settle into the pillow, and think, now it's just rest. It feels like the day is over, and from that point on, everything is under control. Except that for many people who have high blood pressure, it's exactly at this moment that a quiet slip-up happens. A normal gesture repeated every night that seems harmless but sends blood pressure soaring precisely when the body should be calming down. At first, nothing really stands out. Maybe a mild headache, a strange heat, the heart beating a little faster. Over time, this turns into a dangerous routine, and the person doesn't even realize that the mistake is being made right before going to sleep. After 60, you can't treat high blood pressure as a minor detail anymore. It's linked to stroke, heart attack, kidney problems, vision changes, and a long list of complications everyone has heard about. Even so, it's impressive how many people who take medication, go to checkups, measure their pressure from time to time, keep repeating a habit at bedtime that sabotages all that care. It's like spending the whole day trying to keep a fire out and, at bedtime, striking a match right on top of the pile of wood. Maybe you've seen yourself in a similar situation. You go to bed, feel a slight dizziness, a bit of pressure in the back of the neck, your heart a little off, but you say it's just tiredness. Turn to the side and force yourself to sleep. On other nights, you wake up in the middle of the night feeling unwell, with palpitations, a heavy head. The next day, you say it was just a bad dream, the heat, worry. But behind these explanations, very often, is that same mistake repeated in your nighttime routine. Throughout this video, the idea is exactly to shed light on this, to show what this very common behavior before sleep is, why it's especially dangerous for people with high blood pressure, and which small adjustments can reduce the risk of spending the whole night with your heart working at the limit for no reason. The goal isn't to cause panic, but to give you information that can prevent serious scares later on. Before we move on, leave your age in the comments and answer honestly. Have you been diagnosed with high blood pressure, or do you take medication to control it? Do you usually feel headaches, dizziness, hot flashes, or a racing heart at night, when you lie down or during the early hours? If you care for someone older, share what that person's nights are like too. This helps us understand who this conversation is reaching and bring other content that really fits your reality. And take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, whenever a new alert comes out about care for those over 50, you get the notice and don't stay in the dark about things many people only find out after a scare. Many times, a simple change in a nighttime routine makes a huge difference to your safety. Now that you've gotten into this mood and maybe remembered your last few nights, in the next part, we're going to start breaking down this risky habit. You'll understand why high blood pressure deserves special attention precisely at bedtime, and how this mistake, so common in the lives of many older adults, hides in attitudes that seem far too normal to be questioned. Before revealing what the mistake is, you need to understand something important. Nighttime is not just another piece of the day for the body. When it gets dark and you get ready to lie down, your whole system shifts gears. Your breathing slows down, your heart tries to beat more calmly, your circulation adjusts so the body can recover for what it went through during the previous hours. In someone with high blood pressure, any slip in this phase weighs much more than it seems. In ideal conditions, blood pressure tends to be a little lower during sleep. It's as if the circulatory system took advantage of rest to ease off the accelerator. But that doesn't happen by itself. The way you end your day, what you ate, what you drank, how your mind is, whether you followed your medication instructions or not, everything influences this fine-tuning of the body. When one of these pieces is out of place, instead of settling, your pressure can rise precisely when you're lying down without noticing anything. Maybe you've already felt something odd at that time. You go to bed wanting to relax, but your chest feels heavy, your heart doesn't match the calm of the rest of your body, your head feels hot, your neck bothers you, your breathing feels short. On some nights, there's a quick wave of discomfort, a light dizziness when you get up from bed, a tightness that's hard to explain. On others, you don't notice anything, but wake up the next day feeling like you went through a rough night, even without remembering clearly what happened. Now think about this. During the day, you move around, talk, get distracted, notice when something feels off. At night, lying down with a quiet house and no one around, any more serious change can go unnoticed for a long time. That's why specialists insist so much that people with high blood pressure need to take seriously what they do at bedtime. Small oversights at that moment are worth many others throughout the rest of the day. And this is where that mistake comes in. It's not something rare or done only by careless people. On the contrary, many people who see themselves as disciplined fall into that same behavior. People who take their medicine correctly almost all day long, but right before sleep, do exactly what undermines part of the protection the treatment offers. Sometimes because of an old habit, sometimes because they think they're helping themselves, sometimes just due to a lack of clear guidance. This mistake shows up in several ways. There are those who change the time of their medication on their own to sleep better, those who skip doses to try to make up for it at night, those who mix their pills with drinks or teas that were never recommended, those who lie down already feeling that their pressure isn't right and decide to handle it without telling anyone. The common thread among all these attitudes is the same: playing with blood pressure precisely when the body most needs stability. Before pointing a finger and saying, "This is it," it's important that you see yourself in this picture. What are your nights like? Do you follow exactly what you were told, or do you adjust things on your own? Have you ever skipped your medication because you thought your pressure was too good? Have you ever taken an extra pill without asking anyone because you felt unwell and were afraid of going to sleep like that? Have you ever mixed medicine with strong teas or drinks thinking there's no problem because it's natural? In the next part, we're going to zoom in exactly on this point: the habit of changing on your own your medication routine and pressure-related decisions right before bed. You'll see why this is so common among older people, why it seems like a good idea at the time, and why, in practice, it's one of the most dangerous paths for those who live battling high blood pressure. Getting closer to the heart of the problem, you can sum up the mistake like this. Many people with high blood pressure play doctor before going to sleep. They change their medication routine, invent new schedules, increase or cut doses on their own, mix pills with drinks or teas that were never recommended. And this happens exactly at the moment when the body needed stability most. Maybe you've experienced something like this. The day was calm, you didn't feel anything different, you measured your pressure at some point, and it wasn't that high. Then comes the thought, today I won't even take the pill, so I don't overload my body. The person lies down thinking they're doing something good, but forgets that the medication was prescribed to keep pressure under control all the time, including at night. When they skip a dose, they open a gap. In a few hours, the effect wears off, and the heart is left without the protection it needed while you sleep. On the other side, there's the opposite behavior. The day was stressful, your head hurt, someone measured your pressure, and it was a bit higher. Instead of seeking guidance, the person decides on their own, I'll take another pill, or I'll take tomorrow's medication now, so I can sleep with my pressure low. Sometimes they combine that with some strong tea, another pill they saw on TV, or even alcohol, all at the same time. The intention is to guarantee a safer night, but in practice, it turns circulation into a mess. It's also common to see people using their medication with a lot of flexibility. One day they take it at 7 in the morning, another day at 11, another in the afternoon, connecting it to the nighttime dose. When bedtime comes, they're not really sure what they took, how long it's been, whether the effect has already passed or is still going on. Then come dizziness, drops in pressure when getting up to go to the bathroom, palpitations, unexplained discomfort during the night. The next day, nobody remembers the scheduling mess. There's only the feeling of a bad night. There's still the classic scene of turning to the pharmacy or a neighbor. You feel something strange, decide to take the pill someone recommended, or keep old medications at home and use them just in case. You mix brands, doses, schedules, sometimes without even checking the name properly. All of that, piled up, weighs 1,000 times more on someone who is older, takes other medicines, and has a long list of health issues. The thread that connects these situations is always the same: deciding alone what to do with your own blood pressure, especially at night, as if it were something simple. And the more time goes by, the more this habit sets in. The person grows more confident in their own improvisations and only realizes the size of the risk when a major scare comes, a strong crisis, a fainting episode, an emergency visit. If you saw yourself in any of these scenes, it's not to make you feel ashamed, but to turn on the warning light. It's very common for older adults to make these kinds of adjustments out of fear of feeling something during the night, out of fear of bothering others, or because they believe they already know their own body. But high blood pressure doesn't go well with improvisation, especially at bedtime. In the next part, we're going to broaden this picture a bit more. Besides changing medication, there are other behaviors before sleep. Heavy food, excess salt, screens until late, arguments, and worries that act like gasoline on this fire. Together, they turn what could be a quiet night into a game of Russian roulette for anyone already living with high blood pressure. Besides using medication the wrong way, there's a set of habits that many people repeat every night without imagining the effect this has on their pressure. On their own, they're already not good. Combined with the mistake of messing with medication, they form a dangerous pair. One of them is the classic heavy meal late at night. Eating dinner very late, with lots of salt, fried food, processed meats, canned products, or that reinforced snack before bed, a sandwich loaded with cold cuts, a bag of chips, ready-made food, forces your body to work double precisely when it should be slowing down. Your body stays busy digesting while you're trying to sleep, your heart has to pump harder, your circulation is more demanded. In people with high blood pressure, this is a recipe for spending the whole night with the system overly active. Another factor is using screens right up to the last minute. Lying in bed scrolling on your phone, watching scary news, arguing in group chats, watching videos that make you angry or anxious keep your mind lit up. Your body is in bed, but your brain is on high alert. This makes it harder for the natural drop in blood pressure that should happen at night. For some people, this kind of stimulation speeds up the heart and makes sleep light and broken, full of interruptions. There's also the habit of bringing heavy topics up at bedtime. Conversations about family problems, old arguments, money worries, fears about health and the future. When these subjects always come up at the end of the day, the body starts to associate bed with tension, not rest. Blood pressure reacts to this atmosphere, and the person goes to bed with a tight chest, racing thoughts, and the whole system on alert. Some people still combine all this with coffee, soda, or alcohol at night. They believe a drink helps to relax, or that a little glass helps you sleep better. In those with high blood pressure who already take medication, this mix can become a problem. Instead of relaxing, the body has to deal all at once with alcohol, medicine, heavy digestion, worry, and screen stimulation. It's a lot for a body that, after 60, no longer responds the way it used to. Notice how everything connects. The person eats late, consumes too much salt, has tense conversations, stays glued to the phone, changes medications on their own, and then lies down expecting their body to figure it out. When a headache, dizziness, or heat shows up during the night, they blame anything else, the weather, age, a bad night, and keep repeating this routine for years. This is not about living in a bubble with rigid rules and no pleasure. It's about understanding that after 55 or 60, your body charges more dearly for excesses that it used to be able to compensate for. In that, in the case of high blood pressure, this charge often comes in the form of scares that could have been avoided. In the next part, we're going to start turning things around. Instead of just warnings, you'll see practical steps to organize your nights in a safer way. How to handle your medication, what to avoid, what to watch for, and what kind of attitudes can make the difference between a peaceful night and an unnecessary risk. Once you've recognized the problem, the next step is to organize concrete actions. It's no use just knowing something is wrong. You need to understand what to do in practice to reduce the risk. The idea isn't to overload you with impossible rules, but to show adjustments that fit into your daily life and that, repeated, make nights safer for those living with high blood pressure. The first point is simple to say and hard to stick to. Don't change your medication on your own, especially before bed. Don't skip a pill because your pressure was beautiful during the day, and don't take an extra dose because you got scared by a slightly higher value at night. The timing and amount were decided precisely to keep some balance over 24 hours. When you decide on your own to change that, you create peaks and dips that your body can't always handle. If you feel that the schedule you were given isn't working, for example, you're always dizzy at night, feel unwell after taking your medication, or wake up feeling very strange, that's something to talk about with your care team, not something to fix through improvisation. Write down what you feel, at what time, with which medication, and bring that information to your next appointment. That way, whoever takes care of you can assess what makes sense to change, whether you need a different type of follow-up or more tests. Another important precaution is with creative mixes. Avoid combining blood pressure pills with alcohol, some miracle tea someone recommended, a neighbor's medication, or leftover pills stored in drawers. If a professional prescribed a specific tea or complementary guidance, follow exactly what was explained. Other than that, be suspicious of any ready-made solution, especially ones that claim to control pressure naturally with no need for medical follow-up. Regarding food, try to make dinner a bit lighter and earlier already helps a lot. Less salt, less heavy fat, less food right before lying down. If you get hungry later, choose something simple in small quantity instead of a full plate. That way, your body won't spend the whole night locked in heavy digestion, which helps prevent unnecessary spikes in pressure. In relation to screens and worries, it's worth setting a kind of internal quiet time. That might mean turning off the TV and phone some time before bed, avoiding very intense news at that hour, and leaving tough conversations for another time of day. Instead, use the last few minutes for something calming. Light reading, prayer, soothing music, deeper breathing. When the mind shifts down a gear, the body follows. If you usually measure your pressure at night and notice that the numbers are always very high, instead of taking more pills on your own, record the values with date and time and take them to your health professional. In situations where numbers are very high and you also have strong symptoms, intense chest pain, shortness of breath, tingling, loss of strength, trouble speaking, vision changes, loss of coordination, don't wait for it to pass. In those cases, the right move is to seek emergency care immediately. It's important to repeat, no video replaces a medical appointment. What you're hearing here is meant to open your eyes, help you find words to explain what you feel, and encourage you to stop playing around with blood pressure control. Decisions about doses, medication changes, or any deeper adjustment must always be made with someone who studies your case closely. In the next part, we're going to tie everything together. Revisit the nighttime scene. Reinforce what the mistake is that almost every older person with high blood pressure makes before bed, and show how small habits can keep you safer without turning your routine into a field of fear. Go back for a moment to that first scene. The end of the day, lights off, you settling into bed with the feeling that everything is fine. Now, with everything that's been said, you can see that this moment isn't neutral. It can be the time when you protect your body so it can rest better, or the moment when, without realizing it, you send your pressure into a roller coaster that lasts all night long. The mistake that almost every older person with high blood pressure makes before going to sleep is treating that time as if it didn't matter. Changing medication on your own, skipping doses, taking extra pills, mixing medicine with drinks or tea without guidance, eating heavy, salty food, staying on screens, and worrying until the last second. All that together hands the night a body that's tired, irritated, and poorly protected. And then any slip-up comes at a high price. From now on, you can look at that same moment differently. Instead of lying down, thinking whatever happens, happens, you can get into bed knowing you did your part. You took your medicine as prescribed, avoided excesses, gave your mind a bit of calm, didn't invent your own solutions. That doesn't guarantee that nothing bad will ever happen. Nobody can promise that, but it greatly reduces the chance of a crisis caused by habits repeated inside your own home. If you recognize yourself in any of the examples, don't use that to beat yourself up. Use it as a turning point. What's done is done. What matters is what you do with the nights ahead. It might be worth talking to the people you live with, explaining what you learned, asking for help remembering times, organizing your medicines, adjusting dinner, turning down noise and arguments at bedtime. Taking care of blood pressure isn't just swallowing pills. It's something built in the family, in the routine, in the environment. Now, share in the comments which part of this video opened your eyes the most. Was it realizing that you've been changing your medication too much? Noticing how heavy your dinner is? Seeing that you go to bed with your phone in hand and your mind on 1,000 problems? Writing it down helps you commit to some change and can also help others see themselves in your story. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is a great moment to do it and turn on notifications. That way, whenever a new alert about health after 50 comes out, you get the message and don't have to rely only on luck and improvisation. And if you know someone with high blood pressure who always says, "I'm fine, I can handle it," send this video to them. Sometimes they just need to calmly hear what no one has had the time to explain properly. Your nights don't have to be a game of chance. By respecting your medications, taking care of your habits, and listening to your body's signals, you give your heart and circulation a chance to work more peacefully while you sleep. And in the end, that's what you deserve, to close your eyes knowing you did what you could to wake up the next day safer. Not with the feeling that you spent the whole night fighting a danger you could have avoided.